Hey y'all! So today I wanted to try out the Prismacolor Turquoise Soft Graphite Pencils. I'm gonna be doing some different techniques with them, kind of see how I like them personally, and I'll do a review here at the end of the video. They come in this cool little case, looks like this. So for this video to try out these pencils, I wanted to try doing a cat skull and some mushrooms around it. We're getting kind of close to Halloween here, so I just thought this would be a really fun little Halloween project. Let's get right into it. Hey y'all, today I'm going to be testing out the Prismacolor Turquoise Soft Graphite Pencils. And some other supplies I'm going to be using is a kneaded eraser, a Tombow mono eraser, as well as a tissue and 2 different sizes of blending stump for blending and a old makeup brush for brushing bits away. I'll also be using a Faber-Castell, a pencil eraser, and that's just to get some of the finer details in erasing wise. And I'll also be using a sanding pad to get rid of some of the graphite from my blending stumps. So I'm using the kneaded eraser just to remove some of that initial outline and lighten that up a bit. Since I'm right-handed, I'm starting from the left-hand side to avoid as much smudging as possible. For the initial layer, I'm going in with a 2B pencil. Since it's a harder pencil, I'm not going to be dumping just a huge amount of graphite onto the paper, just so I can kind of get a feel for where my light and dark values are going to be and some of those defining details. I do like to go ahead and block in some of the darker details first. It makes it a little easier as you're going to see where some of your dark and light values should be and keep track of your initial shape. Here I'm bringing in the 3B pencil to give it a little darker shape, and also using my blending stump to really feather out that edge and make it not just a harsh line. I like to use my blending stump a lot as a actual drawing tool itself. It does make it a lot easier to get some of those lighter, more shaded details in without sharp lines. As I go, I try to use my eraser to keep my highlights as bright as possible, not just as a reference point, but also just so you can see where they're at, especially where the value change is very subtle. For the darkest parts of the nose, I'm going in with a 7B pencil. It is quite a bit softer, so a lot more graphite is deposited onto the paper. I'm going in with a Tombow mono eraser with a very light hand just to lift off a little bit of the graphite from those little fine bones inside the nose. If you're having trouble with your piece looking flat, or just those details aren't standing out quite as much as you'd like, don't be afraid to go super dark with your shadows. The shadows are what give everything shape, that range of field. So you've got really lights and really darks and a range of color in between. And that's going to make your piece really pop off the page and give it that three-dimensional look. These inky cap mushrooms were a whole lot of fun to do. Don't worry about getting them perfect, just try to get the texture right. So the lines on the cap and the really dark edges will give it that three-dimensional look and give it a lot of texture. But just have fun with these. I'm using a 2B pencil to go in and create the details on the mushroom cap, and then I'm going in with a fine-tipped blending stump to blur out the edges of those. I'm using a 7B pencil to create all the really dark edges of the mushrooms where everything's kind of dripping down. I'm coming back in with the 2B pencil to make all the little bits of shading and texture on the mushroom caps once again. I'm now going in with the Faber-Castell eraser pencil to try to give more texture to the mushroom caps by lifting up some of that graphite that's on there. It was difficult to keep this eraser pencil sharp. What I ended up doing was cutting both sides with an X-Acto knife to make a little bit of a finer point so that I could get in some of the finer details. So there y'all have it. This turned out to be a really fun little project. I really enjoyed doing the darker areas and a lot of the texture work on the mushrooms. That came out really cool. As far as a review on these pencils, they were a little difficult to use in the sense that they were very soft and they did smear a lot, but that's just because I had a subject that was, for the most part, white, or, you know, bone color and off-white color. Now, if you were doing a project, say, similar to the subject on the front of this box, where there's a lot of really dark areas, a lot of heavy graphite, you know, the background's almost completely dark, save for the snowflakes, I think these would be perfect. Not my favorite, but I will keep trying them, and maybe I'll run into a project where they're a little better suited for what I'm trying to accomplish. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was definitely a learning curve, so if you have questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them in the box below. If you would like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.